Hi, everyone. It's Sarah. We are not live today, so you cannot ask questions live. I'm trying to take a little vacation, and I will be, unfortunately, traveling when we normally do these live videos. But this is the twofer podcast, so we will have Bosly's Backyard Kim coming up in a bit. But we are going to start with Kat from Lost Animal Sanctuary. Hello, Kat. How are you? Let me unmute you. So nice to meet you.
I'm doing so good. How are you? It's so nice to meet
Good. Yeah. So I remember seeing you on Instagram and just being so impressed that an organization like yours existed so close in Crystal Lake. And you guys are relatively new. But tell me, number one, it's just incredible what you do. And I was looking too at the education too that you provide kids and schools, and you're at events with animals in your organization. And I would love to just hear how this all started. And I imagine growing up that you loved animals because you wouldn't be here if not. But tell us how this all started. And I know it's not just you two, so let us know how it started.
Thanks. Yeah, I've definitely been an animal lover since day one, especially kind of the more uncommon animals or the animals that don't get a good rap, like, bugs and rodents and, as I call them, creepy crawly cuties. But I kind of went for the zookeeper education career track, majoring in biology, because I knew I wanted to do some sort of animal husbandry related career, but wasn't sure, exactly what it would turn into. But I met my colleague and partner in crime, Mary Pat, working at a nature center in Park Ridge, which is a close Chicago suburb. And Wildwood does a lot of like live animal education, which I had also had a background in, volunteering at Peggy Notabar Museum and Cosley Zoo in college. So we were doing a lot of animal care and animal education there, and kind of formed this dream through our interactions with the public, because through talking to people, both kids and adults, about animals, we realized that not only is there a lot of, misunderstanding about small exotic pets, small mammals and reptiles and inverts, but also a need for services for these animals, just like shelters for dogs and cats. A lot of people will be looking to rehome animals like this or looking to adopt animals like this. And there are a few really great organizations in the area doing work, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done than there are people to do it. So, I wish there was 10 more rescues for small exotic pets in this area, because we've been so busy. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, and we've had over 115 adoptions. So it's been busy. There's definitely been a need for this. And so we're no dogs, no cats, just small mammals, reptiles, and invertebrates. So, we usually have tons of bunnies and guinea pigs, and then occasionally other things like rats, mice, gerbils, bearded dragons, small snakes, hermit crabs, all the creepy crawly cuties.
Hermit crabs. I guess when you take that beach vacation to the Jersey Shore, which is where I'm going, and you get that hermit crab, and then you realize the hermit crab needs a new shell to grow into and specialized food. But
Yeah, and they can live for, I think, almost 20 years. So
wow. See, and just like that part of it, like how your knowledge on that is just incredible. It's kind of interesting now that I have your contact information, because I get tagged on so many things like, hey, I found this dying bird, and so many people tag like Flint Creek, I think it's called. Um, so how do you guys get these animals? Like, is it people basically surrendering them to you, or is it mostly people finding things and then reaching out to you? How do you obtain the animals?
Yeah, most of the animals that we get are owner surrendered. We have definitely had quite a few strays, especially the rabbits. A lot of people are abandoning their pet rabbits this year. It's been an increasing issue, but most of the animals that we get are owner surrenders, and we actually have a owner surrender wait list because we get so many requests for rabbits and guinea pigs. But yeah, either, people sometimes are moving and they can't take the pet with them. Very oftentimes the pet was purchased for a child and the parents are surprised that the child is not taking care of it. And in the case of the hermit crabs, it was a class pet that ended up with the child's family, and the parents were not thrilled about the long-term commitment of that. And so, yeah, a lot of people get these small pets thinking a small pet is a small commitment, but lots of times, not only is it more of a long term commitment than you're thinking, but the care is sometimes pretty involved. And so, lots of times, those animals need handling before they're really friendly, and certainly not going to, be a great experience for any party with an unhappy pet.
Yeah, and I assume for you, similar to, we do a shelter diversion program at Chicago Animal Care and Control that I've been a part of in the past. I'm not so much anymore. I help the animals with cancer or masses and that kind of thing. But it's probably really hard for you as somebody that loves these animals so much to hear the owner stories and understand the owner stories and really say, like, why did you get this pet if you couldn't handle it? So can you kind of take us through like a day in the life almost? Like, you obviously have animals in your care. Do you guys have a brick and mortar?
Yeah, we have. It's based out of an outbuilding in on my property. We specifically moved to this property and chose this property to form Lost Woods because it had kind of a large former wood shop, um, about 2,000 square feet that we converted into a mini shelter for mini pets, and it's adorable.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I'll come for a tour sometime. We'll do the podcast live there with the animals. It would be great. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, what's been kind of the challenge with working with owner surrenders? Because I assume sometimes it's hard to keep your feelings kind of checked in.
Yeah, I definitely have a rule that if an email makes me emotionally elevated, I have to wait a day or so to respond to that because lots of times if you come from a place of, anger, people won't listen to that, educational outreach. And, through doing a lot of education throughout my career, I've definitely learned to kind of like take 1 second to swallow the question and then try to, approach it from more of an educational standpoint because people aren't going to listen to the information that you say, if you're not respectful about it. But of course it's very challenging. Lots of times I'll get emails that people want to donate their pets to the shelter, and I want to respond, that is not a donation. Giving us money is a donation. Dropping off your pet at a shelter is not a donation. um, and I also, my day job is working at a vet as a vet assistant. It is the exotic specialty, the vet that we take all of our animals to. So, lots of times I've been taking care of animals, at the vet, and then I come here and I take care of the animals at the shelter. And then, I get an email about how this one bunny someone has is just too much work and they are not going to bother with it. And I'm like, if I can take care of 6 bunnies and 11 guinea pigs and 22 mice and a rat, then I think you can take care of your bunny for a couple months while you make your way up the wait list. So it is definitely dealing with humans is definitely the most challenging part of running a
I
shelter.
feel that. I feel that deeply. I think most people will that have been in rescue for a bit. And you guys seem young, which is I think is good. You seem like you're younger and you're getting into this, but you have the experience. What is the biggest challenge been, do you think, since you started this? Only 2 years old. That seems like so young, but because you've been doing it before it was official, it probably is, like second nature. But what's been maybe the most challenging thing you've seen so far running this?
I would say the biggest challenge is just meeting the need. We have a wait list of, you know, 14, 15 owners on our guinea pig list and maybe 6 or 7 owners on our rabbit list. And we have a lot of owners who want to relinquish water turtles, but we just don't have a big enough pond to accept all the water turtles yet. So um, I would say just meeting the need for small exotic pet rescue has been the biggest challenge. But I mean, besides that, it's been amazing. We've been really surprised by the amount of people who have wanted to adopt these kind of pets. Sometimes people will drive hours just to adopt a little rat or something. And that, really does give us hope that, even though people make it hard, there are also people who really do want to do the right thing with these pets and want to learn about them and give them a home instead of supporting pet stores or getting them on Craigslist or something.
Yeah, what a great message, and so cool that people travel so far for a pet from you. I think that that says so much. Do you take fosters too? Like, can people foster a turtle or a guinea pig?
We're not foster based right now because we have our little shelter that's kind of like the capacity of the shelter is the capacity of what we can manage at the moment. But we'd love to add a foster program someday. But we definitely work closely with other rescues. A lot of them do have foster programs. So if anyone's like, wow, I'd really like to foster a rabbit, like I can always point you in a direction of an organization who does um, based in a lot of fosters and need more fosters, whereas
Yeah.
we're based on in our little shelter.
Yeah, which is nice because you kind of know you can see what you have. I mean, I can't imagine the feeding schedules for all of the different animals, and just like you said, this one person is complaining about this bunny and you have, 20 at one time and a waiting list. But just really phenomenal work. I'm really impressed, and like looking at your page, I don't even know how I ended up there. I think it was like suggested. I'm really proud of the work that you do right in my little own community too. So keep up the great work. Do you have kind of like I was telling somebody, they were asking me what's my plan for Live Like Rue, in 5 and 10 years, and like I really have a problem just day to day. Like I'm looking right in front of me with who we can help now today. But do you have kind of hopes and dreams in the next few years?
Oh yeah, definitely. We, like you said, we always try to do a heavy emphasis on education and have Girl Scouts come visit and go to schools and camps and try and educate people about these pets and as pets and the issues that face them, so that maybe we can prevent that. These situations in the future. We always try to discuss, what's a domesticated animal? Why shouldn't you just dump your bunny outside and things like that with the kids, so that, by the time that they're old enough to be presented with a situation like that, they're like, I learned that I actually cannot dump a bunny outside. And but yeah, it's been very busy and we haven't, had too much time for all the educational stuff, but that's kind of our goal, is to start doing a lot more both on-site and off-site education. Like we want to start a Bun 101 class where you can come and like learn everything about rabbits. We want to do a lot more of that because that is what makes us special and what makes us awesome.
Yeah, Bun 101. I love it. It's cute. And I love your logo too. You guys do a really good job. I think too, having younger people in the rescue world is so important. A lot of us old hags have been around the block, and it's nice to have like
I am 33. I look young, but I have a lot of experience.
well, that is young to me. I just turned 48. So you guys
Oh my gosh. I thought you remembered.
thank you. I appreciate that. You guys do wonderful work. And just so people know, what's the biggest need? I assume you take donations, obviously. Is that the biggest need? And do you have like a wish list that people can donate to?
Yeah, we do have a donation wish list for both animal care supplies and just regular cleaning supplies. Obviously, money is great because we can give that to the vet, and that's where we spend the most money. But like paper litter and like, paper-based bunny litter and animal bedding is something that we go through a lot. Timothy hay is something that we can never have enough of because the animals just eat tons of hay every day. Bunnies and guinea pigs just consume so much hay. So hay and bedding, cleaning supplies like laundry detergent, and as well as fun things like enrichment for the animals, because a lot of our animals are chewers and they're waiting for a home, they need stuff to do. So we're always touched when people send like little chew toys and stuff for the animals, as well as the less fun cleaning supplies, which are equally important as they are less fun.
Yeah, equally important, and I know very appreciated. So, everyone, I'm going to link you to their wish list and to their website. So, if you can, please donate. That means so much to them. I know, especially for smaller organizations that do so much. Those things go a long, long way. So, if you can pay for a $10 bottle of detergent, please do that. Thank you, Kat. It was like really a pleasure, and I'm a big fan. I'm going to keep following you. I'm not I'm not going to send everybody your way when somebody says, I'm going to say, listen, they can help you try to keep the pet and give you some advice. Go to some of their educational seminars, which I hope you do. I do hope you end up doing those, because I think education is the most important thing, especially early on.
Absolutely. And all these pets, these little ones, are so misunderstood. People see a fluffy, cute bunny and they say, I bet he wants to be squeezed, but usually they do not.
Yeah, and that stuff is so important. Like even that stuff that I don't know, and I'm a pet sitter, so like I feel like I could learn so much from you, even about the lizards that I pet sit for and all of those good things. They're not just to be fed, they need a life too. It's very important. They just don't live in a tank
Feel
24/7.
free to visit anytime. It's adorable here.
Awesome, Kat. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I really appreciate it.
You too.
Everybody,
Thanks so much for having me.
yeah,
Bye.
go follow and like them. They're amazing. And again, I latched onto them because I saw something on social media and I've been following them. They do incredible work. I need to take a little break for our sponsors right now, but coming up, we will have Kim from Bosly's Backyard. Unmuzzled is presented by the following sponsors. Bark Pouch. Bark Pouch believes there's no greater joy than a delightful time with your dog or dogs, plural. We like a lot of dogs around here. So they make irresistible lickable treats that are easy to use while walking, training, grooming, familying, friending, and even vet visits. Check them out, barkpouch.com. Kiki's Corner Natural Pet Foods in downtown Winfield, Illinois, just a block south of CDH Hospital on the railroad tracks. Kiki's has all your food and health aid needs for dogs and cats. Kiki's Corner for a healthy, happy pet. Canine Cruise is the place to take your pet. They offer dog and cat boarding, dog daycare, pet retail, and mindful day school. With over 12,000 square feet of indoor space and a spacious yard, they are the one-stop shop for professional pet care in Chicago. We can't do this podcast without our following supporting sponsors. Twin Tails Market and Barkery is a local family-owned business that has been serving the community for close to 7 years. Located in Palos Park, Twin Tails has everything you need to give your dogs and cats healthy and natural foods, treats, chews, toys, and much more. You can find them at twintailsmarket.com and on Facebook and Instagram at Twin Tails Market. The Canine PT specializes in helping senior dogs improve their independence with their daily routine as they age, heal, or recover post-surgery through exercise, massage, laser, and acupuncture so they can live their golden years without the need for pain medication. Brilliant work you're doing, Canine PT. Anything is Possible is Chicago's premier dog training company. I have sent so many people to Anything is Possible. They offer group classes for every stage of your dog's life and have a talented team of behavior specialists to work through any issues that need modification using positive reinforcement. Liz Starks at Guaranteed Rate. Check with Liz for the absolute best mortgage options. She helps when others can't and even calls it rescue loans. Buyers, sellers, or investors, give Liz a call. She can lend in all 50 states. NMLS number 224526. Kimberly King Photography. Kimberly is a professional photographer from Chicago who loves animals as much as you do. That's a lot. Her pet portraiture celebrates pure love, connection, and the beauty of life with our furry loved ones by our side. Canine Therapy Corps. Give back and volunteer with your dog at Canine Therapy Corps. Volunteer teams empower and motivate individuals through goal-directed, animal-assisted therapy services free of charge across Chicagoland. Visit caninetherapycorps.org for more information. Part 2 of the podcast, we have Kim. I'm going to bring her right in from Bosly's Backyard. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me.
No, thanks for being here. So Kim and I have worked together a lot at Bosly's on various events, bucket list items, birthday parties. So I want to talk about all of that. But Kim, I know that this is named after a very special dog. So I really do want you to tell the story of how this all came about in 2020 and kind of where you are now and what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, you probably will hear from her as well because she'll probably want my attention. So I adopted Bosly from the Anti-Cruelty Society in 2011. She's 12 now. So she was 4 months when I got her. And, she didn't really have, obviously she was a puppy, so she didn't, have a ton of behavioral issues when I got her. She wasn't a stray, she wasn't older. But it was kind of like when she was around a year and a half that, once she got out of the puppy stage and got some confidence that, We would go to the dog parks in the city, because obviously that's where you take your dog to get exercise and stimulation. And we were just always having dog park drama. So, her just not getting along with other dogs, or, the human drama at the dog park. So, it was really just a challenge that where do you go in the city when you live in an apartment and you don't have a yard? Where do you take your dog to get, that exercise and the stimulation that they need? She's a 70-pound large dog, so she's got a ton of energy. It was kind of an idea that I had for like close to 9 years. I just was always like, I wish I had just a safe space that it would just be me and her, and we could just pop in. And, back then I was working a corporate gig too. So, limited time, you're working all day. And so you kind of want, just quick and easy, kind of get home from work and where can I take my dog? I had the idea for about 9 years. And then through my just work in rescue, particularly, I got involved with One Tail at a Time in 2015 and joined their associate board, was the board president for a couple of years. And through that, my eyes just kind of got a lot wider, and my heart grew so much bigger just for animal welfare and rescue and understanding dogs. And kind of was like, why are we forcing our dogs into situations like the dog park if, it's stressful for them and it doesn't work for them. And so that's kind of really where Bosly's Backyard was born, to have just a safe, place to play with your dog, work on training, work on strengthening your communication with your dog, and just have fun and not have to worry about, any of the triggers that can come with letting your dog off leash in the city.
Yeah, and not just triggers, but like weather. I mean, Chicago weather is a thing. So if you want to come into a temperature regulated environment when it's 100 degrees out, like that's awesome to me, because you don't want to walk your dog all around when it's 100 degrees. So I love that part of it too. And for me, for those of you that have been listening to this for the first 4 episodes, you know that I left corporate America, which Kim, you did too. So, I think when you see somebody do that and they're successful, Heather from One Tail is a great example to all of us in this field. There she is. She's like, I'm named after Bosly.
Yeah. She's like, I'm in this too.
But that first step and saying that, you had that idea and plan for 9 years, I think says so much. So when you see from actually opening it, so when did you open? 2020? What month was it?
2020. So I started them, I was calling them pop-ups, and started it kind of like an event. So I was using event spaces just to kind of test the concept, get feedback. So I had 2 events in January and February of 2020, and then lockdown happened. So it took a hiatus until about July or August of 2020, found a different event venue in Logan Square, and ran it there like a few times a month, up until I found my own space in May of 21 is when I opened. But finding space was also not very easy. One, dog venue, like a lot of landlords, typically were like kind of just frowned at, dog businesses, and then 2, just costs and everything. So I almost gave up. And then, I feel like when the universe wants something for you, the stars align. So
I love that. Yeah. And that's the thing, I think too, like for me, I think a lot of people think like one day you're just like, okay, I'm going to quit and I'm going to do this. I mean, I was almost at that point, like months before, like I was just done. But the amount of like, like I got rid of my debt. I paid my mortgage through 5-6 months. I did all. It's so hard to get it going and to get in the right space.
Yeah.
When you look at how far you've come, are you so proud that you really did it?
Yeah, it is. It's shocking, and like you said, there's no Bible for this. There's nothing really. You kind of just figure it out as you go. And I worked that full-time corporate job, through the pandemic while I was doing this. So it took me, almost 3 years before I quit. And like you said, things don't happen how you envision them to happen. But when it was the right time, and I was finally able to do it. It's still shocking. I feel like it still doesn't feel real.
Yeah. And I do think too, for me at least, and I feel like you probably feel like this just being at events at your place, it doesn't feel like work and you just want to tell everybody like get out of that, like because it's so toxic. And
it is,
much love to my former employers. I bled sweat and tears all through all of that. I was committed to it, but when you can commit to something that you built from the ground up, it is such a different feeling.
It is like I haven't had just a second go by that I ever wanted to give up. And it's not stressful having your own business, but it's it's a different stress. But I think for me, when you're totally in control of it, that's, the difference. Like in corporate America, I just felt like you have no control over, your career path or, anything. It's everybody else is making decisions, about you and for you. And it just, was something that I knew many years ago that I couldn't do the rest of my life. It was just that the toxicity, the egos, the politics, all of that. It was just not in my personality, and I knew that my heart was really with the dogs. So, but it's such a journey, and it took a while to get here.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm not saying it's not terrifying. I mean, and that's what you just said is it is all on you, but it's also all on you. So if you're not able to deliver, or you can't, or like if I broke my hand and couldn't walk dogs, like I'd be screwed for a bit. Like I admit. So
it's funny you say that, because it's like one thing on my to-do list was like disability insurance. You don't have that as you're self-employed. So keep putting it off, and I'm like, I have to.
That part of it is scary. So I don't want people to think like you can just do it. Like there's a lot that behind the scenes that people don't see that goes on. So kudos to you. And I wanted to talk too, because you've built out this. It's not just a place where dogs come and play. You now host parties. You've hosted parties for our bucket list dog, Sugar Mama, which I'll show some pictures of. And you also do wagon shops, which have been really successful. So that kind of adds on to the things that you do.
Diversifying the services, has been great. It's funny that a lot of the people that do parties with us aren't our regular clients as well. So in the small business markets, it's just really such a good community of people that come to those that are also small business owners in Chicago or around Chicago. So it's really good networking personally for myself, for the vendors. And then we do all ticket sales go to a charity. So it's also a fundraiser. So we're supporting small business and then also giving back to local charities.
Yeah, which has been fabulous for us. And I really appreciate it, because I know in December we were the the foundation of the organization of the month. And we made a ton of money from that event. So thank you so much. Everybody knows how much I love Christmas.
Our
so
pleasure.
That's a lot. But it is
fun this year.
it is really awesome that you give back so much to the community. I know you've had rescue dogs in there with fosters. People can sponsor play dates. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So every month we feature a different rescue of the month. And basically we help to fundraise play session donations that are offered at a discounted rate. And then also if people don't want to buy a actual play session, they can add $10 onto their appointment, and then we match that. And those go to play sessions as well. So every month is different, and it's just a really great way to, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this business too is obviously to give back to the local rescues, but to get dogs out of the shelter and, a field trip and just get them to do something fun. I think it's also great for the volunteers. It's something different for them to do versus just, going to the shelter and walking them around the block or whatnot. And then, we take pictures and they take pictures, use those, as their profile in their adoption pages. And I have had actually quite a few people say that the dog that they took in got adopted soon after that. So there's, I always say we're kind of like a lucky charm too, but it's just, it's seeing the dogs in a different light than at the shelter too. And they're happy and they're having fun and they're playing. So sometimes even the pictures and the videos that they take help get them adopted.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through your Facebook page trying to find pictures. There's a ton. Yeah. Every single dog was like tongue out, smiling, happy. And it's so nice to see a dog that sits in a cage for 23 and a half hours a day sometimes. And I mean, sometimes it's more than that.
Yeah.
Actually playing and happy, and you don't know if that dog is ever going to get out of animal control, but at least they're this amazing time at your facility.
And there has been several volunteers who, make that comment too, that, that they're a different dog there, and you really do kind of get to see more of their personality because they are stressed, when they're sitting in a kennel all day and at the shelter. I mean, it's just kind of a stressful environment. So you kind of do really get to see more of their true personality come out.
Yeah, I love that. That's so important. It really is really important. And just like you said, exposing them to really like a different audience and people seeing them in a different light. It's
Yeah.
great. So I would say probably that's one of your highlights, but is there something that's the toughest about running this business? And I will say I went to Cubby Bear Lee's birthday party.
Yeah.
I thought I had his picture here. I'm going to have to bring it up. But and there were kids like playing on the dog toys. And I kept saying to the parents, like, it's so hard because it looks like a playground and for young kids to get that through. So I know that's one of the difficult things to be a part of.
I mean, it is when you get, like kids are running around. We just, we want everyone to be safe and not get hurt. So,
right.
Try not to climb on this stuff. It's not meant for humans, but yeah.
So is there anything else that's kind of tough, even day to day?
I think at the end of the day, like as much as, it's fun and it's enjoyable, it's still running a business. So you still have to pay your bills and you're still, constantly, I think I'm, just somebody too, that I feel like am I doing enough, so I'm constantly trying different things. I think just having your own business in general it's all me. I don't have a business partner or anyone else. So I think that too is, I don't have somebody to, bounce on a daily when something comes up. I have to go with my intuition and my gut, and at the end of the day, it's, we just want everybody to be safe, and do things the right way. So, I think, running your own business is always going to be, it's going to have ups and downs, but, at the end of the day, it's, it's still a business. So
it is so true. Like I've had some like major downs where I'm like you are basically just like, nope, I'm done. Like I can't do this. But the highs, like obviously are so much better than that. So you get through it.
Yeah.
But it is really hard, especially when it's just you. It's really a thing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. There's not so, just somebody else to like vent to and, say, what would you do? What do you think?
Right.
Yeah.
So people always ask me this, like, do you have a 5-year plan for your, Live Like Rue or for your business? Like I just try to get through today.
Yeah.
Like, do you see like a year or 5 years or 10 years? Like, do you have those kind of goals?
Yeah, it's funny that's another thing that I feel like always weighs on me, like what's next, and I've had some of these milestones, like even going from renting an event venue to, this is my own place now and rent and all of this stuff. So these are, great milestones to get to. I think, I constantly keep saying that it took me so long to get here. And so I'm just trying to really enjoy the moment and not worry too much about what's next. I think, sometimes I think about possibly franchising in the future. I don't think that would be maybe, next year or the year after, but maybe down the line, maybe 10, 20 years down the line when maybe I'm closer to retirement or something too. So that's something that's constantly, pops into my mind, but I also feel like I don't want to lose the brand and our story and all of that. And that sometimes franchises look a little bit more templated. And so, you also don't want to go that way either. So I think, for right now, I'm really just trying to enjoy the moment. But I'm always, open to ideas too. People come to me and different partnerships and offerings and things like that. So if it aligns well with, at the end of the day, bonding and spending time with your dog, I'm always looking to offer different things too.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's like really good goals right there. And that's the other thing, I want to mention is that you really only have 1, 2, sometimes 3 dogs per half hour per hour, depending on what. So it's not like you're like a daycare where there's like 100 dogs in there. I mean, you really are relying on people filling those time slots.
Right. That's a challenge. It's basically one appointment at a time, so like on a given day, we open at 10, we close at 9, if we're filling that day, we could probably have up to like 12 or something appointments, but like, that's it, and so it's not 80 dogs, and think about the cost. So, cost wise, it's also you're not having a ton of dogs. So yeah, it's really just like, how do we keep filling the space, and what can we offer that diversifies, that brings in different clients as well.
Yeah, by the way, I'm obsessed with those two pitties in the middle. I don't know.
Oh, I know. They have their own Instagram page. You'll have to follow them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's King and Boss. Yeah.
I am like, seriously, like I was going through the pictures. I'm like, I should put these on the end slide. But
yeah, and Hookah on the right, he's a one-tailed dog.
Okay, yeah, because I recognized him. He's like pitty mixed with like shepherd or something.
Yeah, or like Pyrenees, I think.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Which we know Heather loves the
yeah,
all the big fluffies. So
that's so cute.
Yeah, and him and his mom and his family have come. He was really dog reactive, and they've done so much work, and he's like come so far. So it's so awesome to see that.
Yeah, I love that. And that's the thing too, like with you being there most of the time, you get to see these dogs too, like really flourish, right?
Yeah.
Such a great feeling.
Yeah, and I also partner with a private trainer too, Sarah Copel, and she's great too. So she'll, she does private training, so it's just one-on-one, and they do several sessions, and through that too, you see, the dogs really, it's so rewarding just seeing their progress. Yeah, and I learn a lot too from her.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's knowledge that you wouldn't normally get elsewhere unless you know somebody, which is so nice.
Right. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, so great. Well, thank you, Kim. Everybody, please follow and and go to their website and book all the things. And if you don't have a dog or you have a cat, and just come to the markets. The wagon shops are so great. The vendors are amazing. I end up spending like hundreds of dollars there.
My staff and I always say like we spent more than we made that day. But
totally worth it though, because you give back to such a good cause when you do those. And I know we really, really appreciate it at Live Like Real. But thank you, Kim, so much for being on. I really appreciate it, and have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you to our sponsors, K9 Cruise, Kiki's Corner, and Bark Pouch. We so appreciate you. Next week, we will have Lisa Sinase, the president and co-founder of Bentley's Pet Stuff. I cannot wait. We'll see you August 24th at 7 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.